Hello, my name is Kamra Devi Dasi, and this is number 10 of my autobiographical video series. The same envious, evil energy that we've already described is directly involved in the unwarranted and unauthorized changes to Srila Prabhupada's books. It's the utmost betrayal of Srila Prabhupada's heart. It's so evil that it's hardly able to be conceived. It was one of my most difficult recollections and realizations, seeing that some of the personalities most directly involved in the changes to Srila Prabhupada's books were, and maybe still are, involved in the darkest of the dark energies and activities. It was some of the deepest processing I've ever had to do, seeing the agenda to try to destroy that which Srila Prabhupada gave us as his greatest gift to humanity. It's a direct attack on what's most pure. It's an intentional attack by the most demonic of personalities. The entire presentation that Srila Prabhupada made, from top to bottom, has been under attack by the insidious forces, the books, the devotees, the temples, the entire mission. It's predicted that Srila Prabhupada's books are to be the law books, the guiding principle for all society for the next 10,000 years. So it's not just about Srila Prabhupada being misrepresented. It's about the depth of the attack on the part of the deep underground, on the very teachings that will afford people the potent access to real spiritual life. They tried to destroy everything, and they almost did. The bigness of all this could make you faint. The level of the evil, of the insidiousness, is unreal. It's the divine versus the demons. Their asuric goal is to destroy anything good or godly, or that leads others to godliness. That is the summary of their intent. As far as the book changes, yes, some things in the pre-1978 books, for example, need to be edited to present what Srila Prabhupada actually said, not what those who misunderstood Srila Prabhupada's accent mistakenly transcribed from the dictaphone tapes, or that some of the books were produced from scans which were not corrected, but not beyond, under the evil influence that they know what is better for the world than Srila Prabhupada himself. The issue of offenses became a very good excuse for not hearing from those who saw what was going on. I've addressed this before. Oh, you are offensive to the devotees, you are banned, you are shunned. How convenient to contrive rumors and falsehoods to protect the masses from such a horrible offender. You know, condemn the whistleblower by making up all sorts of stuff, just like the rest of the world. No sincere devotee wants to make offenses to those who are true to the path. To make offenses to the devotees, to blaspheme those who have dedicated their lives to the propagation of the holy names. That's the first offense in the chanting of the holy names. It's very serious. And as I've also said before, proper etiquette, Vaishnava etiquette, it's at the heart of the Lord, the heart of the devotees. It's at the heart of the Vedic culture. It's at the heart of the preaching mission. I had to examine how to reconcile what I experienced, the horrors, the heartbreak. Was it my offense to them for cursing them out in proper sailor language as I entered my healing process? Or was it their offenses to Srila Prabhupada, to the devotees? The rapes, the murders, the brutal evil rituals, the subtle mind control and indoctrination, the attempt at the erasing of individual creativity and inspiration unless it suited their agenda, the hijacking of the mission. Srila Prabhupada wanted us to become independently intelligent. He didn't want us to be just blind followers. But the organizational leadership couldn't risk teaching that because they had too much of their own personal interests at stake. I gave power in the past to their self-appointed and their peer rubber-stamped social positions. I cooked for almost all of them. It was at great expense to my own personal well-being, but I considered at the time that I was serving great devotees, although their behavior later came to be known as anything but devotional. I still sit in wonderment how I got so caught up in it all, that I cooked for all of them, even as their god sister, knew all their special diets, even peeled the beast's grapes for him, because his so-called disciples were too inept to even prepare a meal. I painstakingly made Tootsie Roll carob burfi on a wood stove for hypocrite Das Goswami at his request. I sent people to them for counsel, when in retrospect I see that I was qualified to give it myself. And they accepted my service arrogantly, like it was due them, because now they sat on some raised seat of hypocrisy. Proper Vaishnava etiquette is essential, and kowtowing to an ill-instated farcical social position is detrimental on all fronts, including to the one who's accepting the worship. So many of my godbrothers and godsisters left ISKCON affiliation after Srila Prabhupada departed, seeing that the organization was no longer run by him. I thought about leaving many times, but I was a single mom, and I kept choosing to try to keep my sons in devotee association. It was a sacrifice, but I did it. Always staying close to the boys, I never sent them away, but yet there was abuse going on under my nose, and I didn't see it. My son's spiritual well-being had always been the decision maker for me, so I stayed. I didn't see that I could give them a proper Krishna-conscious upbringing in a more separated environment. I made the conscious choice. I can't put the responsibility on anyone else for what I opted to do. But in order to stay, I had to suffer in the system that I could see was getting more and more off track. To leave would have deprived the boys of the possibility of devotee association, and to stay was also a gamble, and I had no personal resources. I'd been a professional horse trainer before coming to Krishna consciousness. There was plenty of good opportunity for myself in some of the most prestigious stables in the country, but I was concerned for my boys' schooling and devotional association. The professional horse field is not the cleanest of association in many aspects. My boys had to be raised in devotional association. I did my best, and there was a price, and they were still hurt. My motherhood was betrayed, and so was my devotion to Srila Prabhupada and his mission. Many years ago, at a Vyasa Puja festival for Srila Prabhupada, I watched one of the organizational leaders calling up different disciples of Srila Prabhupada to garland his Murti form and to receive garlands from the Murti in return. I felt like a complete outsider. I was watching the social hierarchy in play, just the whole social structure, and I just kept going closer and closer to the door. And I stood there, and I was pretty well unnoticed, and then I realized that I could no longer dance to anyone else's choreography, that I could only dance to Srila Prabhupada's choreography directly. I left the temple that day, actually in the middle of the festival, and I never went back. And I received reciprocation for that revelation in blessed ways that need no public disclosure.